Hi, I'm Seamless, and now it is time for a basic terminology video. Today we're going to be talking about mixing. And we've got the big video on right now because this is going to be mostly just about a philosophical definition about things, because mixing, and later when we get to mastering, and also sound design to a certain extent, it's a whole bunch of stuff that relate to each other in very different ways, but they do have specific purposes. And mixing's specific purpose is to make things, more than one thing, sound good all together as they did by themselves. So, like, when you're sound designing, it's actually the opposite. You want things to sound really good by themselves. So you do that. You make a thing. You have whatever. Like, the best example I can think of about mixing is sort of how regular, like, rock and metal gets mixed. If you've ever listened to a rock and metal track, you're probably focusing on the guitar because that's, the point of those songs. But it gets weird because if you ever listen to a guitar track by itself, it doesn't sound anything like you'd expect. It doesn't have any of the weight or like the high end. It doesn't have any of the parts. It's basically just this weirdly specifically cut middle of frequencies, and you're like, what's up with that? And that's because when they were making the track, and the guitar player or the tech or whatever was like, here's a guitar tone, and it sounds really awesome. And they're saying, okay, cool, there's that tone. And then here's the drums that sound really awesome. Here's the vocals that sound really awesome. Here's the bass that sounds really awesome. And here's more than one guitar part that sounds really awesome. And like all of these things that sound really awesome, but if you try to put them together without doing anything, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't be nearly as loud as it could be. It wouldn't mesh. Nothing about that would sound the way that we think they do. And that's because they all have conflicting and competing parts. So when you carve up all the conflicting and competing parts, which is really just equalization, you make them all fit together. And so you've done all these things, you've mixed them together, you've done stuff to the sounds. They no longer sound by themselves like they did before when you thought they were cool, but now they do when you play them together. Because now there's the bass guitar on the low end playing the part that fits at the top end. Now there's the cymbals and hi-hats that fill up the high end. Now there's the vocals that are right in the middle, most of the time, if you're a guy. And all that comes together to fit basically around the guitar to make the guitar feel like it has the biggest tone in the universe. And a lot of people starting out, I myself included, when we start out, we're thinking to ourselves, that's what the guitar tone sounds like, just all of that together. And you try to make a guitar tone that sounds like that. And then you try to put that in a song, and there's just no room for it. Because, as it turns out, that feeling comes from the symphony of the band, not necessarily from the one instrument. It's from the mix of all of the instruments that come together to accentuate each individual one. So that's a wonderful example about what mixing is supposed to be. Now, a lot of you are right now thinking about, like, well, why did you describe the EQ thing? Like, what about leveling? What about all these things that you do for mixing? And it's all stuff that you do for mixing. They are their own things. They are their own, probably going to have their own videos as well. I think I did one on level already, but if not, then I'm gonna. The thing about mixing is that it's really just about doing whatever you can to make them sound as awesome as they did by themselves with other stuff. That's it. Anything you do to do that is mixing, including a whole bunch of stuff that people are going to assume are mastering. Just because you put the stuff on the master channel does not necessarily make it mastering. Mastering is going to be a whole topic. It's going to be a bit of a thing. But mixing is just all the stuff that you do to make it sound good together as it did by itself. That's pretty much all there is to that. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. And as usual, have a nice day.